OpenAI unveils new AI model as competition heats up. The News Hub. Let's get right to it. OpenAI is the new GPT 4.0 model. Adriane Mayes AI being the change, bringing you the AI education and news. But OpenAI on Monday announced its latest artificial large language model that it starts will make ChatGPT smarter and easier to use. The new model called GPT 4.0 is an update from the company's previous GPT-4 model, which launched just over a year ago. Now, Adriane Mayes, as the president of CCC Because We Care Foundation, but also the captain of the Detroit Chat GPT Revolution, thought I wanted to bring this news as it was just announced on Monday, May 13th. This is Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, that the new model called GPT 4.0 is an update from the company's previous GPT-4 model, and which launched just over a year ago, as I stated. So based on the company's demonstration on Monday, GPT 4.0 will effectively turn ChatGPT into a digital personal assistant that can engage in real-time spoken conversations. It will also be able to interact using text and vision, meaning it can view screenshots, photos, documents, or charts uploaded by users and have a conversation about them. OpenAI Chief Technology Officer Mira Murata said the updated version of ChatGPT will now also have memory capabilities, meaning it can learn from previous conversations with users and can do real-time translation. This is the first time that we're making a huge step forward when it comes to the ease of use, Murati said during the live demo from the company's San Francisco headquarters. This interaction becomes more natural and far, far easier. The new release comes as OpenAI seeks to stay ahead of the growing competition in the AI arms race. Come on, Adriane Mayes, AI genius on top of things and head of the game. Rivals including Google and Meta have been working to build increasingly powerful large language models that power chatbots and can be used to bring AI technologies to various other products. The OpenAI event came upon one day ahead of Google's annual I/O developer conference, at which it's expected to announce its update to Gemini AI model. Like the new GPT 4.0, Google's Gemini is also multimodal, meaning it can interpret and generate text, image, and audio. OpenAI's update also comes ahead of its expected AI announcements from Apple at its Worldwide Developers Conference next month, which Adriane Mayes AI Genius will cover. And check out the full article on newshub.co.nz. But for CNN, keeping you on top of things, come on, you know CNN is on top of it. So again, I wanted to, let's see if they have any video here about the GPT 4.0 model. Let's see if this is here, the coverage.
So I think that's a good start for most people.
Well, what risks do?
Okay, so let's see here.
Home. I don't care. Meaning, just are you comfortable pulling up an AI and talking to it and getting a good outcome?
How do I become part of that AI class?
It's about 10 hours of learning curve, I'd say. It's not easy. A lot of people bounce off AI. So I'd say the journey for most people is they use AI for the first time. They're amazed. Like, oh, wow, like this answer was incredible. They use it again, not so good. And they kind of lose interest. They kind of think about it like a search engine, and they shouldn't. It's not. It's not a search engine. It's sort of a second brain that doesn't always work as well as you want. Maybe like someone who's hungover or the summer intern, right? So I'd say it takes a few hours to kind of bust through that, sort of get proficient. And once you've done that, I think it'll become indispensable, either, again, to your daily life, parenting advice, travel planning, medical advice, or at work, helping you you could outsource the drudge work, if you will. If you're a typical knowledge worker, there's probably stuff you do every day you don't love doing, but you need to do. Those tasks, for me, are perfect for AI.
So you're talking about high manpower work. That means taking the drudgery out of it, but that also means that jobs could go.
I think jobs will go and or get reformulated, and likely both. And it's all about timing. Big tech will tell us that we're all going to be doing the same job with AI, and probably not be totally candid around, no, there's going to be job loss. And I would imagine in some areas, not insignificant job loss. I do think, though, and the history of technology change is that we end up replacing those jobs with new ones and adding jobs, right, as we get more productive. So I think that'll happen, but I think there's going to be some bumps in the road for obviously a lot of people.
Can AI democratize productivity in the workplace? Everybody can have access to it, or will it be an exclusive club?
I think it's going to be accessible to most. You need a smartphone and $20 a month. It's not free. It is a really good deal. If you think about it, it's affordable. And the good news is there's so much capital right now funding AI is that they are able to deploy it at $20 a month. So I think that's pretty accessible, right? It's more than Netflix, maybe not here in New Zealand. I don't know.
Oh, it's more. Yeah, it's not more than Netflix. No.
Okay.
No, Netflix costs more here.
All right. Okay. Well, maybe in the US as well. I don't know.
All right. So for the price of a video subscription?
Yeah, for prices of a typical streaming subscription, and if you have a decent phone or a decent computer, you have access to what I would consider a second brain. So I think that's a good start for most people.
What risks do businesses face if they're using large language models, LLMs, that scrape data and share it all over the world?
Depends on their industry. So I think some industries will be impacted later by AI, so the risk of waiting may not be that high. I think for other industries, it's happening now. So if you're in media, if you're in content production, if you're in entertainment, if you're in gaming, AI is going to, I think, kind of rip through those industries pretty quickly in terms of making them more efficient. And so I think that you need to think about it as a classic incumbent versus innovator sort of dilemma, right? Incumbents don't always move as quickly as they should or could. And I'd look around if I was a leader and say, can I see an AI native or AI first competitor? If I see one AI native competitor, I know that the game on, and I better start to react and incorporate AI into my business, my workflows, my product or service, because competition will come, right? The disruptors or the innovators are going to take AI and they're going to come, they're going to start to build competitive businesses.
Do you think there are risks for businesses from a proprietary sense, from their own knowledge sense, that you're going to tell your workforce to start using AI, but they're going to be loading data into these worldwide LLMs?
I think the risks are overblown, and
Really?
I think media is misrepresenting those risks. In that, bottom line is, if you subscribe to enterprise AI, so if you buy AI from OpenAI or Microsoft or Google, you can buy it in a way that none of your data is shared with the models, and that's what most companies will do. And you can buy something called GPT for Teams, Chat GPT for Teams. You pay $5 more per month than you would as a consumer, but in exchange for that $5, your data is not shared with the model.
Right. So these big tech companies aren't training their LLMs on all this proprietary company data.
No, they don't need to.
They don't need to.
Yeah, because they've already stolen all of our data. they've already trained their models on the world's information.
Yeah.
They've already done that.
Right.
And so I don't think they need our data, quite frankly, our individual or personal or company data.
Oh, they've already got it.
They don't have it. The bottom line is, if the bottom line is enterprise will pay for AI more than consumers, meaning this will be a massive business if companies buy AI. And the only way they're going to buy AI from Microsoft or Google or Amazon is that they feel their data is secure. And so it's in the self-interest of the AI companies to offer these solutions where they're not going to take the data.
So are we going to see the big tech companies you talked about that are dominating right now extend their domination and become entrenched because of AI?
Yes, I think they win. Quite frankly, this takes a lot of money, right? We're now in Saudi Arabia trying to raise money in terms of the big tech companies, right? OpenAI is looking for $7 trillion or something like that to fund the computing power needed to power these models. So I think big tech is the first winner here.
You're in the business of educational tech. Do you use AI in your own methods?
We're using AI to help us make the courses. We'll soon be using AI to create our lessons and case studies on video, meaning we are going to be using human-trained AI avatars. And
so I'm going to have an AI teacher or AI professor.
You're going to have an AI professor who will look and sound like me, but will not be me. That allows us to make courses faster, makes this content faster, allows us to translate everything to multiple languages, allows us to update all of our courses pretty much overnight. I don't have to get you back in the studio or me back in the studio to update that course. And then soon we're going to debut Prof AI, which is our AI tutor. The bottom line is learning is better when you interact with the content, when you get feedback on what you're learning, when you can be more personalized to your job function, your country, your company, and AI learning can do that.
So your Prof AI can be personalized to my needs as a student?
Yes, Prof AI will know who you are, where you work, what job you're in. You'll be able to ask Prof AI for case studies relevant to what you do. You'll be able to get feedback on your assignment or project when you submit it to our Prof AI. It'll be a very different experience. I think it will basically replace all of online learning today is basically watching videos, sitting back in a Netflix-like experience, right, and watching videos, which means we don't watch them.
I mean, you talked about disruption to the creative industries, like the media industry, but this is the teaching, educational industry. What does that mean for teachers?
We need more teachers. I think that there's this false choice here. It's not, AI is not going to replace teachers. Teachers are overworked and leaving the teaching profession. Doctors are overworked and nurses and leaving the medical profession. In the US, in Canada, I'm sure here in New Zealand. We have to reverse this. And so we need to augment these people, move them up the value chain of their work, and we're not going to replace doctors. What we're going to ask doctors to do is not spend 5 hours a week doing their doctor notes, which is what they do today.
So when it comes to AI, what is underhyped?
Oh, great question.
Is there anything that's underhyped?
Yeah, that's
all true?
It's all hyped. I think what's underhyped actually is some of these everyday use cases that will be transformed by AI, especially AI in our pocket, like travel planning. Planning this trip to New Zealand for 2 weeks using Google and Expedia and TripAdvisor is a nightmare, as you probably know. Lots of links, lots of browser tabs opened, hours of work. Plan that same trip using ChatGPT and tell GPT, for example, I wanted a 7-day itinerary driving in a camper van on the South Island, starting in Christchurch. I wanted to drive no more than 3 hours a day. I wanted to hike 2 hours a day every day. And I wanted a grocery store in 4 of the locations where I stopped. That is a single prompt or question that you can pose GPT and get a 7-day itinerary.
Did it work?
It worked. Fantastic. Imagine doing that with Google, right? Hours of work. So I think what's underhyped are some of these everyday tasks where we can see real gain in sort of our kind of productivity or the way we spend our time. And I think also what's underhyped, it's underhyped for those who don't have access. So it's easy to say an AI doctor is not as good as the real doctor. I'm not so sure about that, but the reality is usually people who are saying that, who are people that have access to great healthcare. I had lung cancer 2.5 years ago. I have a great oncologist at Stanford. I mean, they even valet my car when I go to visit. So I've got good access, but I still use GPT. And I upload my scans and I upload my blood test results and get a second opinion. But think about the person who doesn't have access to a coach, to a therapist, to a good doctor, or they're waiting 2 weeks for a diagnosis to come back. They've got the scan, but they don't have the answer. I think those are underhyped in terms of the value AI will provide to those people without access.
So if we've talked about what's underhyped about AI, what is overhyped?
I think AGI is overhyped. I'm not even sure what AGI is. I mean, it stands for artificial general intelligence, but what is it and does it really matter? I think it's overhyped as this is going to be great for humanity and solve all of our problems. I don't think we know that. I think what we know is AI is a really useful second brain for everyday tasks. Let's focus there and get the value there.
We've heard about AI hype for years now. So some business leaders would say, I've heard this all before. What do you say to them?
Go use AI every day yourself. I'm tired of talking to business leaders who have opinions about AI and don't use ChatGPT. Use it and then decide.
Use it, then decide. Adriane Mayes AI Genius, bringing to you live. OpenAI unveils its new AI model as competition heats up version ChatGPT. The captain of the Detroit Chat GPT Revolution live. Let's go, guys. I can, I will, I must. AI Genius, Adriane Mayes. Let's go. Make sure you subscribe and follow if I provided some value today. What up, though, Detroit? Let's go. Deuces.